Imagine walking out of a bar after a night of drinking with friends, the crisp night air hitting your face as you head back to your car. You're in good spirits, but in the blink of an eye, you vanish without a trace. Weeks later, your body is discovered in a river. There's no obvious cause of death, no signs of struggle, no real explanation for how you ended up there. But then, investigators notice something chilling, a smiley face, painted near the scene. This isn't an isolated incident. Over the years, young men continue to disappear under mysterious circumstances, only for their bodies to be discovered in rivers or bodies of water. Each of these scenes bears one eerie detail: the smiley face. This is the haunting story of the smiley face killers, a chilling case that has left investigators baffled and the public horrified. The first known victim was 21-year-old Patrick D., who went missing after a night out in Iowa City in 1997. His body was eventually found in a river, but investigators were stumped. There were no signs of foul play. No trauma. No reason to believe he didn't drown accidentally. But there was something unsettling that caught their attention: a smiley face, scrawled on a nearby bridge. Was it just a coincidence, or was it something more sinister? The investigators didn't know, but over the years, more bodies began to surface. In each case, a similar pattern emerged: young, athletic men, often college students, who seemed to drown in strange circumstances. Some were found miles from where they had been last seen, with no apparent reason for them to have ended up in the water. As the bodies piled up, the victims' families began to notice a strange detail that couldn't be ignored. Near the location of many of the deaths, a smiley face appeared. Whether painted on a bridge, drawn on the ground, or found near the water, the same symbol seemed to be left behind at multiple crime scenes. Some investigators chalked it up to a random, sick prank. But others, like retired detective Kevin Gannon, began to think this was no accident. They started to see a horrifying connection between the cases, suspecting that the drownings weren't just random tragedies, but the work of a serial killer or group of killers, intentionally targeting young men. This theory didn't come out of nowhere. Gannon and others pointed to the eerie consistency in the details. The victims were almost always young, athletic, and often intoxicated. But there was something else that stood out: the lack of struggle. No one was robbed. No one was beaten. These young men seemed to vanish without a trace, only to turn up dead in a river. Could it be that they were abducted, tortured, and then dumped in the water, with the smiley face acting as a twisted signature? Was this a group of killers leaving behind a symbol to mark their gruesome work? Despite mounting evidence, law enforcement remained largely unconvinced. The cases were dismissed as alcohol-related drownings, and many of the bodies were found in situations that didn't immediately suggest foul play. But Gannon and other investigators pressed on. They found more victims in different states, each case appearing eerily similar to the last. The smiley face kept showing up, and the deaths kept occurring, but the police couldn't find any solid leads. As the years passed, the theory gained more traction. Some experts even suggested that the smiley face killers were a network of individuals working together across several states. Maybe it was a cult. Maybe it was a sadistic group of thrill-seekers who found enjoyment in torturing and murdering young men. There was also speculation that these killers could be a part of law enforcement, which would explain why they seemed to evade detection for so long. The idea that the killers could be hiding in plain sight, possibly even using their positions of power to cover their tracks, was enough to send chills down anyone's spine. What's even more terrifying is that, to this day, the smiley face killers remain an unsolved mystery. Despite years of investigation and countless theories, no one has ever been charged in connection with these deaths. The smiley faces continue to appear, and the bodies keep turning up. Some families believe their sons were murdered by a group of serial killers, while others hold out hope that their deaths were just tragic accidents. But one thing is clear: whether it's a deliberate pattern or just a series of coincidences, the smiley face killings continue to haunt us. The question still remains: are we dealing with a twisted group of killers who have been operating for decades, or is there something darker at play here? One thing's for sure: the smiley face is a symbol we won't soon forget.